Wow, I have not made a video since the days of Video Star. Hello, hi, how you doing? Okay, so my name is Astro, and I'm here to talk about Mertube, or Mermaid YouTube series, as some people remember them. I run the blog on Tumblr, Mertube Nostalgia, where I dig up old Mermaid YouTube series and post about them, just bring back a bunch of nostalgia, because I am one nostalgic motherfucker, I can tell you that. I grew up on Mertube, and I even tried to make my own series when I was a kid, and I still to this day am writing my own series. I just don't have any friends to do it with, and also I am non-binary and I have not finished transitioning yet, so I can't exactly get into the water when show off the body that hasn't finished transitioning, you get what I mean? One day I will indeed make my own series. It's like a lifelong childhood dream, but that's completely different. We'll talk about that later. That's for another video. So I decided to just make a video kind of talking about the whole Mertube thing because I haven't seen anyone else do it, and it may seem like a kind of niche corner of the internet from the late 2000s to early 2010s, but I mean, there's 180 something people following my blog, so clearly people remember it. So I felt like I would be the one to make the inevitable video about it. You can probably tell from my accent, I am indeed Australian, and that is where the wonderful, life-changing TV show H2O Just Add Water came from. It was definitely H2O that started the whole Mertube thing, although the interest in mermaids has been around for literally ages. I mean, we've got the Little Mermaid, we've got Splash, we've got Aquamarine, we've got all kinds of mermaid media. It's been around for ages. It's definitely not anything new, but the whole concept of touching water and turning into a mermaid was definitely coined by H2O, and it was H2O that led to Mertube even being a thing in the first place. Now, I'm not 100% sure what the first Mertube series or short movie on YouTube is, because it was so long ago. It was around 2009, and there definitely could be some unknown video sitting on it, like a couple hundred views that just hasn't been seen for years. That could be the first, but the first that really blew up and the first that we all know of obviously is Secret Life of a Mermaid. Everyone who is into Mertube knows Secret Life of a Mermaid. It started in 2009, which was definitely when the whole mermaid YouTube shows was kind of kicking off, and it was also around the time when mermaid pool toys started to get really popular, like everyone has seen the original Phineas Kids monofin that does nothing. It does not propel you in the water at all, but you know, it's a kid's toy, so what do you expect? And I used that actually for the majority of my tails back in the day before I upgraded to a fin fun monofin. There was also a short movie kind of thing floating around at around the same time called The Mermaid Transformation that I do remember was going around Mertube back in the early days, so I think that and Secret Life of a Mermaid was kind of the Kickstarter of Mertube, and following that were series like The Three Tales and Fire Eyes Just Add Water, which is now rebooted into Connected and is apparently coming back, so I really hope that they make it work out because their 2015 reboot was like the coolest thing to happen in all of Mertube. And eventually there were so many of these being made by pre-teens, younger teens, kind of that age group, that it formed a whole community, and the Mermaid YouTube show's wiki was a thing and it was running for years. I don't think it has been updated in quite a while, but oh my god, that is probably the biggest archive of Mertube that we have at the moment. If you remember a Mertube show, chances are you'll probably be able to find it on there. Unfortunately, a lot of Mertube shows that we all remember and loved have been deleted in recent years because people grew up, people decided they didn't want their early teen years broadcasted onto the internet, which I definitely understand because my first attempt at a mermaid show was up on the internet for about a year and then I deleted it because one, it was cringe and really bad, and two, No one needs to see me pre-transition. Side note, on the off chance that someone figures out which Mertube show was mine, if you're gonna talk about it, please don't link people back to it. Like, don't send anybody any screenshots that might be floating around on the internet or something, because again, no one needs to see me pre-transition. Please don't spread that shit around. But I will not hide the fact that yes, I was a Mertube person back in the day, and I really want to start it up again if I had the friends for it, but no one's into mermaids anymore, sadly. And, you know, once I am fully transitioned, maybe I will be able to do it. Okay, back on track, I gotta stop rambling. Point is, it definitely kick-started around 2009, and I would say it kind of died off maybe 2017, 18-ish. That's kind of the year that I noticed there weren't as many new shows being made. I've kept up with it all this time. I found out about it in primary school, and I'm now a high school graduate, and I still keep up with Mertube because it was such a big part of my life. And I haven't seen as many shows be made in recent years, so it's definitely died down. While there were definitely very popular and quite famous among the community shows like Secret Life of a Mermaid and The Three Tales, Magic Shell Mermaids, Fire Eyes Just Add Water, which is again now connected. Ocean Heart was a pretty big one, and I remember they did like an episode where they collabed with a bunch of other Mertube shows, and it was so cool, but they are deleted off the internet now, which is so sad. But man, that was a cool moment in Mertube history. Oh, and Mermaid Miracles. Mermaid Miracles was a whole phenomenon. It ended up getting like a proper professional like reboot kind of thing. It had like a proper camera, a proper budget and everything, and then there's a lot of different stories as to why it got deleted off the internet, but it's gone now, unfortunately. There goes another piece of my childhood. But anyway, my point with this little section is it started around 2009 and it died off sometime in the mid-2010s. Sadly, I really wish it was still going. If anyone out there still wants to make Mertube series, please do it. I'm gonna watch it. I will promote it on the blog or something. I want to see more. I want a Mertube renaissance. The next section of this little trip down memory lane I would like to mention is the tales. When this whole Mertube thing kind of started, it was mainly homemade tales with that one Finnish Kids monofin and some kind of like spandexy swimsuit kind of fabric. But as the whole mermaid thing got more and more popular, companies that made tales started to pop up. They had been around before the whole Mertube thing, but it was more for professional performance mermaids and like party mermaids and stuff. They had the whole custom silicone thing, but the kid-safe fabric version of a tale wasn't that popular until the whole Mertube thing kind of blew up. Obviously the most popular that literally everyone and their mum knows is Fin Fun. Still around to this day. I much prefer their old designs though, I'm sorry, but the new Mermaidens ain't it. Maybe I'm just biased because I have the old Aussie green, but the old one's way better. There was also Mermagica, which is a now defunct website. Apparently there was some kind of drama at the time, but I was a kid and I don't really remember it. There's also Magic Tale. Magic Tale is still around. Magic Tale is still pretty popular among mermaids. There was the Two Tales. They were pretty big in the Mertube sphere for a while because the creators of the Three Tales were involved with the company. Other than that though, I don't think there were really many other companies that kind of made it into Mertube shows, mainly because they were very expensive, and the more affordable ones were obviously the ones that people were using because we were all kids. When it came to storylines and plots, a lot of them were definitely very much inspired by H2O. Like, clearly, H2O was the thing that kicked it all off, but mainly it revolved around 2, 3, 4, however many group of friends you had, finding some sort of magic pool, a magic object, a magic piece of jewelry, some kind of magic object that eventually turned them into mermaids. And it followed the same kind of formula as H2O, where you would touch water, turn into a mermaid, dry off, get your legs back, that kind of thing. It was usually some kind of a moon-related plotline, again inspired by H2O, or some kind of a space event, a moon, a solar, a planetary alignment, something along those lines that would cause hijinks to ensue, usually some sort of trance-like state. Occasionally there would be creatures other than mermaids, like sirens. Every so often I would see a fairy, and sometimes they would come up with their own kind of concept, like the Finn Trials, if people remember the Finn Trials, had the Sins. And filming locations, obviously we were all around, you know, preteen, early teen kind of age, so we were limited with our locations. We would have to get our parents to drive us around, or we would have to just walk down to the local park or something, but for the most part, you got a good mix of pool footage, beach footage, some kind of forested area like a park or like a riverside kind of area. You got them as locations a lot, and of course just inside the person's house, just in their bedroom, out in their backyard, whatever you could get your hands on. Now, since we were all very young, cohesive plot lines and good storytelling was kind of hit or miss. Some people are just generally very good storytellers, it's a talent that they were born with. So there were a lot of series out there that really did have good storylines, and they made do with what props and areas they could film in, just what they had, and it actually ended up being really good. Like, I mean, Secret Life of a Mermaid, hello, it was really big for a reason. They had limited resources, but they had a good cohesive plot line. Everything kind of just came together and worked out. And the ones that didn't really have a cohesive plotline could still be fun to watch. Sometimes people wouldn't even have a script, they would just improvise it. But some of them were still actually pretty decent. In a way, the whole Mertube thing kind of reminds me of when Littlest Pet Shop videos were really big around the same time. People would make stories using the Littlest Pet Shops as characters and just use what they had on hand to create a whole universe and film a whole story, and it kind of has the same vibe as Mertube, because it was people around the same age just using what they had and having fun with it, you know? The whole thing was just a bunch of people obsessed with mermaids and obsessed with H2O usually, wanting to make their own story. And it's kind of sad that it's sort of died out, because it was fun to watch young people just be creative and have fun. You can really tell that people really liked making these series. You can tell that they were having a lot of fun making them. The original community have all grown up now. We're all either in our last couple of years of high school, or we've already graduated high school. We're all grown up now, and while we have lives and we've moved on from things, there's clearly a bunch of people that are still nostalgic about it and are still into it. I mean, again, people follow my blog, so clearly they remember this. I really don't want this to be something that fades into obscurity and just gets forgotten and becomes a small part of the internet that just kind of sits there abandoned. I wish people would make more Mertube series. I wish those who wanted to do it when they were a kid, now that they're older and they have more resources, they can try and do it again. I want a Mertube renaissance so bad. I guess my point of this little video is just sort of bringing it up again, getting the community back together. I would love if everyone who watched Mertube as a kid, who is now an adult or like an older teenager, could like come together and create kind of like an active fandom again and make their own series again and just revive what was such a fun thing to do and a fun thing to watch, and just bring it all back again. So yeah, that's my little ramble about being nostalgic for Mertube and wanting it to come back. And if you're coming here just randomly by chance, then hi. Follow my blog if you remember this. I bring back a bunch of old memories. And if you're coming here from my blog, thanks for following, and thanks for, you know, being nostalgic with me, because Listen, I may have graduated 2 years ago, but god damn it, I still feel like I'm 6. And I really do hope that one day I can make my own series. It's a childhood dream. Unfortunately, no one that I know is into mermaids, so I don't have anyone to do it with. And again, there is the whole transition thing. I want to wait until that's over and done with. But one day, I will make my childhood dreams come true. I can go more into detail in another video, or maybe I can do one on certain shows that were really popular or something. Just, you know, bring more Mertube content to the table, and for now I will leave it at that. This is just me bringing an old memory back to you. And again, I haven't made a video since like the video star days. Remember when that was a thing? Oh my god. I hope this is decent. I'm literally just using an iPad for this. I have no professional equipment, but yeah. I hope this brought back a memory for you. And yeah, follow my blog. Perhaps I'll make another video. Who knows? Maybe I'll see you in another video. Who knows? If not, you know where to find me.